Emily froze when she heard a child humming upstairs, even though both children were asleep. She had only been in the Hargrove house for 3 hours, but the silence of the Colorado woods pressed against the windows like a living thing. The house was massive high ceilings, antique portraits whose eyes followed her, and a long upstairs hallway that felt colder than the rest of the home. The wind outside made the branches scrape against the walls like fingernails. When she went to check on the kids, she found them sleeping soundly, breaths slow and steady. But the humming didn't stop. It echoed softly, almost playful, coming from the very end of the hallway where a locked room sat untouched, covered in dust. Emily stepped closer, and the humming abruptly stopped mid-note. Her phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. "Don't let him in." Her pulse spiked. She spun around, expecting to see someone behind her. Nothing. Only the shadows stretched across the carpet, darker than they should be. She took one step back, and the floorboards groaned. Then a whisper light, trembling brushed her ear. "Emily." No one knew her name. The boy appeared again that night, standing barefoot in the hallway like he'd always belonged there. Emily blinked hard, thinking her eyes were playing tricks on her, but he didn't blur or fade. He stood perfectly still, head tilted, watching her with hollow sadness. She whispered, "Are you lost?" But he didn't move. She turned away for a moment, barely a second, and when she looked back, he was gone. She rushed downstairs and checked on Lily and Noah. Both slept deeply, both accounted for. The Hargroves didn't mention any other family members. At breakfast the next morning, Emily quietly asked Mrs. Hargrove if there had ever been another child in the house. Mrs. Hargrove's fork froze midair. Her eyes went cold. "Do not talk about him," she whispered sharply. The room fell silent. That night, unable to shake what she saw, Emily checked the home's security cameras. And there he was standing behind her in the hallway in the live feed, staring at the back of her head. Panic shot through her as she spun around in real life. Nothing, empty hallway. She looked back at the monitor. Now the boy was closer, almost reaching for her. The locked room felt like it breathed when Emily pressed her ear against the door. The air around it was colder, almost damp, as if the room had been sealed in forever. She inspected the doorknob and stepped back when she noticed claw marks, deep scratches carved into the wood, as if someone inside had desperately tried to escape. Lily had once whispered something about the other babysitter, the one who went missing before Emily arrived. Heart pounding, Emily waited until the family slept, then quietly stole the old brass key from the kitchen drawer. The lock clicked open with a slow metallic drag. Inside, the room was small and gray, choked with dust and old children's furniture. A broken crib, a cracked rocking horse, chipped wallpaper showing faded cartoon animals. On the far wall were children's drawings, hundreds of them, of a tall, faceless figure lurking behind small stick-figure children. Emily backed away, breath leaving her lungs in sharp bursts. Suddenly, tiny wet handprints appeared on the walls. First one, then another, then dozens. They crawled upward, fresh and glistening, forming patterns that seemed to move. She froze as a soft giggle echoed from behind her, though the room was empty. The baby monitor crackled awake at 2:13 a.m. with breathing that did not belong to the children. Emily sat upright on the couch, every hair on her body standing on end. She leaned closer, listening, slow, heavy inhales. Then a deep, gravel-lined voice whispered, "She's next." Emily's heart slammed against her ribs. She grabbed the monitor and ran upstairs, but the moment she approached the hallway, every light flickered violently. The house alarm suddenly shrieked throughout the walls. Door locks clicked shut on their own, one by one, like someone, or something, was sealing them in. The children woke screaming. Emily pulled Lily and Noah into the laundry room and barricaded the door with her body. The monitor in her hand hissed with static. Then the screen flickered to life. A tall, faceless figure stood outside the door, head tilted unnaturally to the side, listening. Its shadow stretched beneath the doorway, long and twisting. Emily held the children tighter as the figure pressed its hand against the door. The wood bending inward like something enormous was pushing from the other side. The voice came again, closer than before. "Watcher, watcher, watcher, Mrs." Hargrove finally broke when Emily screamed at her to tell the truth, or she would leave with the kids that night. Her face drained of color as she sat at the dining table with trembling hands. Mr. Hargrove stared at the floor. They told Emily everything, their voices cracking. Decades ago, the property had been an orphanage, one that burned to the ground in 1979 after dozens of unexplained accidents. The caretaker, a man known as Mr. Gray, was suspected of harming the orphans, but he died in the fire along with the children. Or so people believed. When the Hargroves rebuilt over the ashes, strange things began happening. Babysitters disappearing. Children seeing friends no one else could. Mr. Hargrove swallowed hard and confessed that the last babysitter, Melissa, vanished near the locked room upstairs. They found only one thing, a message carved into the wall with something sharp. Emily's blood chilled as he recited the words, "He takes the watchers first." The house creaked loudly, as if reacting to the confession. Suddenly, a picture frame fell from the wall and shattered. Behind it was a burned handprint, fresh. Emily knew then whatever haunted this home was awake again. Emily's scream tore through the house when she saw Noah's bed empty at dawn. Panic sprinted through her as she raced from room to room, calling his name. No answer. Lily sobbed behind her, shaking uncontrollably. Emily noticed small wet footprints on the hardwood floor leading toward the basement, a place the Hargroves warned never to enter. The door was already open, breathing out cold, stale air. Emily grabbed a flashlight and descended step by step into the darkness. The beam flickered across old toys, broken cribs, and burned dolls arranged in a circle. In the corner sat Noah, whispering to the shadows as though listening to someone. "He wants her," Noah said without looking up. Emily's breath caught when the temperature dropped violently. Behind Noah, a towering shape began to rise, long limbs unfolding, head bending as though made of smoke and bone. A faceless man, tall enough to scrape the ceiling, leaned forward. The basement walls trembled. Emily lunged, grabbing Noah as the figure extended a hand that stretched far too long. The house growled around them as Emily dragged Noah up the stairs, the faceless figure's steps echoing close behind. The entire house roared like a living beast as visions slammed into Emily's mind with blinding force. She saw fire everywhere, children screaming, flames swallowing the halls of the old orphanage. Through the orange haze, Mr. Gray appeared, dragging terrified children toward the basement, his silhouette monstrous and inhuman. Emily realized the ghost children weren't haunting them. They were trapped, reliving their deaths every night, waiting for someone who could finally end it. Emily understood she needed to free them. She gathered Lily and Noah, fighting through the shaking floors and exploding light bulbs. The attic door blew open on its own, revealing relics from the old orphanage, including the original wooden sign, "Willow Creek Home for Children." Emily lifted the sign, feeling cold fingers brush her arm's ghost children guiding her. She whispered, "I'll help you." At that moment, the faceless figure lunged up the attic stairs, crawling unnaturally fast. Emily struck a match and set the sign ablaze. The entire attic erupted in supernatural wind as spirits swirled upward in a blinding burst of light, finally breaking free. The fire swallowed the house in minutes, yet Emily felt an eerie calm wash over her as she carried the children outside. Flames towered behind them, smoke spiraling into the gray morning sky. Fire trucks arrived, their sirens piercing the air. Emily collapsed on the grass, holding Lily and Noah, all three of them trembling. As firefighters battled the blaze, Emily saw them ghostly silhouettes of children standing inside the fire, watching her with peaceful expressions. They were free at last. A firefighter approached her, puzzled. "Ma'am, you need to see this." He handed her a helmet camera. The footage showed Emily running through the house, but she wasn't alone. Behind her walked a tall, faceless figure, untouched by flames, following her calmly through every hallway. The firefighter swallowed. There was no one in there when we arrived. Emily stared at the screen as the figure turned its head toward the camera at the last second, as if acknowledging the viewer. Then the footage cut to black. Emily's heartbeat thundered, the children cried softly beside her, and from the burning ruins of the house, a familiar voice whispered on the wind, "Watcher,